Hello and welcome once again to the podcast where we dive into the world of sports, gaming, and things in between. Welcome to Jeff's World Season 2. I had to stop doing some episodes of the podcast as school really became stressful and ultimately I had to make the decision to stop making episodes. I had to shift focus to university, which isn't much of a surprise, but when it gets to that point, you have to make those decisions. But here's Season 2 and we're going to try to start things back up again. This episode's not really going to cover gaming, which what I like to do is add at least one gaming story, just like I like to add a sports story. But given that baseball is back and March Madness is in full swing, I think we might as well cover that instead. So to start us off, we're going to go ahead and get into March Madness. Now, the games officially started yesterday. Today is Friday. So the first half of round 1 is already concluded, but I'm just going to say it was very interesting to watch. Literally putting the words madness into March Madness. But I'll do a little catching up. Second seeded Kentucky got upset by 15th seeded St. Peter's. Michigan upset Colorado State. New Mexico State upset UConn. Richmond upset Iowa. But I'll just cut to the chase and say that there were some pretty big upsets. Mainly the Kentucky and Iowa ones. Those did some pretty big damage. I can recall two friends of mine, well, one being my dad, the other one being a very close friend of mine, had Iowa going to the Final Four. So it really messed their bracket up. I did not have Iowa going to the Final Four. I had them going out in the hands of Kansas. But hey, like March Madness. So here's what I'm going to do. Since I said earlier, the second half of the first round games are currently underway as of the recording of this podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and say my predictions for the games that are happening. And I'm just going to say for the record, as a little disclaimer, I am no basketball expert. Like, I will admit that my basketball IQ is not high at all. I'm more of a hockey, baseball, and racing guy, more the basketball expert. But hey, as they say, the blind squirrel finds the nut occasionally. So here we go. Take all these with a grain of salt. Like I mentioned, I am no basketball expert. So here we go. Alabama versus Notre Dame. I think this is going to be a good one. It's going to be a close game, but I think Bama's going to pull away victorious in this matchup. But I will not be shocked if it's a one-basket game. I'm not biased, I swear. I'm trying not to be biased during all this chat. Why did I say chat? This isn't Twitch. Texas Tech and Montana State. I'm just going to go with Texas Tech. It's just what my gut's telling me. Michigan State versus Davidson. I wanted to go with Davidson. But since they lost to Richmond, it doesn't really surprise me now because they just beat Iowa. I'm going to go with Michigan State. Duke versus CSU Fullerton. I say Duke because it's Duke. Texas versus Virginia Tech. I'm calling an upset on this one. Virginia Tech will upset the Longhorns. My backup for this, I mean, besides every computer option on the app telling me that I should not pick Texas, I think Virginia Tech will upset them. I feel like they may be too much for the Longhorns to handle. But hey, who knows? Maybe they'll change it this year. Purdue versus Yale. I think Purdue, as I just believe they're the better team in this matchup. I think they've got this one. But it won't be easy for them. In fact, none of these matchups are really going to be easy except for the next one I'm going to mention. But yeah, I think Purdue is going to pull away with this one. I think they're just the better team in this matchup. Arizona versus Wright State. Obviously, I'm going to go with Arizona here. In fact, I have Arizona winning it all this year. Unless we see Arizona pull a Virginia in the UMBC matchup. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I do not need to go back and discuss it. But yeah, we'll see Virginia pull a Virginia. Arizona pull a Virginia and collapse. Seton Hall versus TCU. I was originally going to go with TCU, but I changed my mind last minute and picked Seton Hall. It was just a gut feeling, I want to say. There's no real backup for me to make that decision. Houston versus UAB. This one will hurt some of my friends back in Alabama. I'm just going to say right now, so you probably know what I'm going to end up saying. I got Houston winning this. Originally, I predicted UAB was going to upset Houston. I just feel like UAB is like one of those teams that people sleep on every once in a while, and then they'll beat a team, and everyone will freak out, but then they lose in the next round. But I changed my mind after thinking of it a little more, and I picked Houston. I swear I'm not picking these because of seeds, guys. I'm not one of those people that picks solely because of seeds. It's just a coincidence. But Loyola Chicago, I mean Sister Jean versus Ohio State. I'm 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 gonna go with Loyola because I'm a bit of a bandwagoner. So go ahead and call me a bandwagoner. But I'm thinking Loyola's going on another run. Um, actually changed of plans. I just got a notification saying they lost. So never mind. Go Buckeyes, I guess. Yeah, so I guess I got that pick wrong. Villanova and Delaware. I'm gonna go with Villanova. I think they're just the better team. Like look at their past. They've won the national championship multiple times. When I really started tracking March Madness, or when I was old enough to. But yeah, I'll just go with Villanova. And I'm also just gonna say I'm not ignoring Delaware, guys. I watched a lot of like Conan O'Brien clips, and he did a skit where he had a character make sure people were aware of Delaware. So that character might need to pay a visit to me because I need to be more aware of Delaware. But I'm just gonna pick Villanova for this one. LSU versus Iowa State. I just feel like LSU is gonna win this one. My school went to the March Madness tournament one time, and I think it was in 2000, and we almost won in the first round, but we lost on a almost last second bucket. It wasn't a buzzer beater, and it was to LSU. So as much as I don't want to side with them, I just think they're gonna win this one. I'm just gonna have to put that to the side. Sorry, guys. Michigan versus Colgate. No, not the toothpaste Colgate. Don't get that one mixed up. I'm referring to the Colgate basketball team that I believe will upset Wisconsin. That one. Now, watch as I'm wrong with this pick and Wisconsin ends up mopping the floor. But I mean, if the toothpaste basketball team does end up winning, that would be really nice, as I actually predicted an upset. USC versus Miami. I originally picked Miami, but then I went over to USC. I just feel like they're going to just take care of business on this one. And finally, Auburn versus Bellarmine. I mean Jacksonville State. Sorry about that, guys. A bad habit. I'm not even going to be apologetic for this one. Auburn wins this. Sure, Auburn's been struggling as of late after losing into the SEC tournament. And that rule that Bellarmine can't compete in the tournament because of the 4-year transition period, I don't like that rule. I think that, in my opinion, that rule's dumb. Like, why do they have to wait 4 years? Like, if it's a 1-year wait period, okay, fine. But 4 years? Like, come on. But I'm going to go with my gut and pick Auburn. Don't worry, Bama fans who I hear messaging me right now asking if I secretly go to Auburn and not SEMO, but I don't think they'll go far anyways. Let me look at my bracket right now, actually. Where do I have Auburn losing? I have Auburn... Oh, wow, that's strange. Losing to LSU. Okay, that's probably a dumb pick, looking at it. But hey, maybe it'll happen. And those are my slightly BS predictions for March Madness. I encourage you to put your predictions in the comments if you want, or you could just sit there and just question what you just heard. But hey, maybe you will be right and I will be wrong. And hey, maybe I will be wrong with Arizona and they do pull a Virginia and UMBC. We'll just have to wait and see at this point. Now, we're going to switch sports here. We're going to get off the court and step on the ice. We're moving to ice hockey, specifically the Southern Professional Hockey League. Sorry, guys, no NHL this time. But currently, the SPHL is in the standings race. The final games of the regular season are closing in. And for teams like Macon and Birmingham, the door to make the playoffs are closing, and they are closing very fast. Now that the Bobcats are a part of the league, the brand new team in the SPHL, this is their first season. And everyone was hoping they would make a breakout season. I'm sorry to say this, but I hate to sound mean, but the Bobcats did god-awful this year. They only have 13 points as of the time of this recording. Out of the 47 games they have played up until this very moment, they have only won 4 of them and lost 5 overtime games. There's your points for you. There's all 13 of them. It's bad. Like I genuinely felt sorry for them, but it's their first season in the SPHL. It'll be okay. They'll be good in a couple of years, I'm sure. But yeah, they only won 4 of them. But the 2 teams ahead of them are the Macon Mayhem, who won 8 games as of right now, and the Birmingham Bulls with 14 wins. Only 8 teams can make it to the playoffs, and in my opinion, Birmingham I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat myself. I believe Birmingham has the best chance out of the teams that are yet to clinch, or teams that are outside of the 8th seed, meaning like Macon and Birmingham. I think Birmingham has the best odds out of those 2 teams to make a playoff spot. But it will not be pretty. They have the best chance. So Birmingham only has 34 points as of right now. They are also under 500, again with 14 wins. And if you look, each team has played around 47 to 48 games. So when you look at it from that, it's not pretty at all. It's really not. But yeah, the team ahead of them is Roanoke, and they have 43 points. So it's still possible for them to squeeze in. It still is. And sure, it'll be, in my opinion, a laughingstock that a team under 500 will make it to will make a playoff appearance. But I mean, given the situation that the teams that are yet to clinch, it won't look that pretty regardless. And as of now, 6 of the 8 playoff spots have been taken, with the Pensacola Ice Flyers taking that 6th spot as of, I think, 2-3 days ago. They officially clinched. But yeah, with those spots starting to evaporate away, the 6th place team, or Pensacola as previously mentioned, they have 54 points, and the team currently in the 7th spot, that is Evansville, they're only 3 points behind them, sitting at 51 points. So putting my logic out there, it looks like Evansville may end up being the team that takes the 7th spot. Birmingham has a total of 9 regular season games left. They are also, coincidentally, 9 points behind the last playoff spot. Still possible for them to squeeze in, like I mentioned earlier. But it will not be easy, as their schedule is not looking easy at all. It's bad. They have to face off against some high-ranking teams in the form of Knoxville, Huntsville, and they have to do that multiple times. In fact, they close off their season against Huntsville, playing them twice. Roanoke has 8 games left in their regular season, and the catch for that is that Roanoke doesn't play Birmingham anymore for the remainder of the season. They don't have to meet anymore. Well, not don't have to. They can't meet anymore because that's it. Roanoke, in my opinion, has the easier schedule, but it's not by much. It's slightly easier, but it's not easier by a lot. You probably won't even be able to tell the difference between difficulty. But here's another catch. Macon has had a bit of a history of playing upset. They're playing spoiler right now. So they get to do that again for teams like Birmingham. They could possibly play upset. So if you're a hockey fan for Roanoke, hang on to your hats because it's going to be a wild ride, and just hang on. You might get that 8th spot. If you're a Birmingham fan, first of all, why? And second of all, you should also hang on to your hats because it's going to be a wild end to the finish. I never thought I'd say that. End of the season for both of these teams. It's going to be really fun. However, if your team has already clinched, or you are a Bobcats/Macon fan and your team has pretty much been eliminated from playoff contention, hey, maybe the battle for first place might be entertaining enough for you next season, because that seems pretty fun for me. And finally, to wrap up this already lengthy episode, about to hit 14 minutes as of now, baseball is back. The lockout is over. Everyone is loving it. It feels so good to have baseball back. However, opening day, I hate to say, did get delayed. But hey, we get baseball back. It's fine. I just hit my paper. I need to be careful. Spring training has resumed, but the big question, or should I say questions, is about free agency. We had Freddie Freeman leave the Braves and sign with the Dodgers. We had Chris Bryant go to the Rockies. But the 2 players I'm looking at are Albert Pujols and Trevor Story. I know, I can probably hear it now. Oh, Cardinals fan bias in the comment section. And you are absolutely right. I'm not going to hide that. But, yeah, the big question is, where will they go? They're entering free agency as of right now. Now, there is a chance that the Cardinals might end up snagging Trevor Story and signing him. If that happens, make that 2 key players that they have gotten from the Rockies. Which, I have a friend who is a Rockies fan who is already not happy that we got Arenado. So if you're listening to this, no hard feelings if that happens. you're still in Discord, right? But yeah, it's going to be really funny if that ends up happening. But Albert Pujols, as much as I love the guy, he's amazing. I don't know if he's going to end up signing back with the Cardinals. I mean, we have Paul Goldschmidt at first base. He's already a great player and a good necessity for our infield. I don't really see the need to get another first baseman. Now, designated hitter wise, since the new rule in the agreement is that there will be a universal designated hitter for both leagues, then we might be, starting to look into who should be our designated hitter, and Pujols would not be a bad option. But then again, we also have other options. So, I feel like our only reason to get him back is because of his past with the Cardinals. I mean, just if you look at the guy's history with St. Louis, dude was a face of the franchise at one point. And he's probably going to shatter a few more home run records before he calls it quits. Frustratingly, until this morning, the Cardinals signed. The Cardinals didn't really sign anything notable until like this morning, when I saw a signing alert saying that Corey Dickerson leaves Toronto to sign with the Cardinals. Once a bird, always a bird, I guess. So, which is great. Welcome to the Cardinals, Dickerson. But Trevor Story's still good. If any Cardinals management, which none of them really care about what I have to say right now, sign Story. I mean, that would be very big if you guys could do it. But, the Cardinals weren't really doing anything worth noting besides getting some few good people in the bullpen. But not anyone like Clayton Kershaw good. But, I mean, still some notable players. But now we have Corey Dickerson. He looks like a good player, a good addition to the team. But now spring training's underway. Where do I think Trevor Story will go? I think Trevor Story is going to go with the Cardinals. And am I being biased? Sure, you can call me biased. But I just feel like that would be the best option for him. There are other teams looking into him. But I feel like the Cardinals are, as a few reports have said, are the most interested in picking him up. So, we don't know yet. We'll just have to sit back and see what happens. And that concludes a good season premiere for the podcast. I am lost for words today. Today we decided to. Well, I don't know why I'm saying we. Today I decided to bring back the podcast for season 2 because I felt like if I just stopped randomly and didn't upload another episode for like a few months, then I feel like, okay, just call that like a season break or something like that and just start with a season 2. And I know that sounds cheesy, but hey, Grade A Under A did something like that where he took a long break and then he said it's like season 4 or 3 or something like that. So if he can do it, surely I can do it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe for more episodes when they come out. Hit the bell so then you will be notified whenever another episode of me rambling about things that probably won't matter in the next few months. If that suits your fancy. Everybody stay safe and have a great rest of your day, and thanks for listening.